Hello and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video what we are going to learn is the different poses in stick figure. Many times my students ask that okay, normal stick figure is perfectly fine. How do I make the different poses in stick figure? And we are learning illustration in our course, so that is one part in our course. And in that from in order to make a good croquis, the base is the stick figure. So from figure you make the box figure, and then we go on to make the croquis. So the base is stick figure. So how do we make the different poses in stick figure is what we are going to learn today. I'm going to show 4 different poses in today's video, and you will see how simple it is to get these poses, and how easily you can do it. So let's quickly see that. First, let's start with this pose. This is a very simple pose, and what we will be doing is I have loaded this picture on Procreate, and we will be checking the direction of the shoulder, the bust, the waist and the hip. And just for the reference, what I am doing, I am making lines. I am drawing lines. Okay, so this is black, it's not visible. Let me change the color. I took the yellow color now, so it is much more visible. So as you can see, I am drawing the direction or the angle of the waist. So the hip is almost straight, so I'm keeping that straight. Now same way I will make the angle of the shoulder. So you see, I'm just drawing straight lines along these 3 main parts of the stick figure. Okay, next what I will be doing is I will be making lines for the legs, so that I get the pose of the for the legs correct. So I have already done her right leg. So as you can see, a straight line I have done, and now the left leg as well. Now let's use a 12 head croquis. A normal 12 head croquis is what I am using, and as you can see, I will be making the changes. So first what I am doing is I am changing the direction of the shoulder, direction in the sense the angle of the shoulder line. So that is what I am going to do. And next what I will be doing is I will change the direction of the waistline, or the angle, not direction, sorry, the angle of the waistline as per the reference image that you see on the left that we have already done. Now the hip line was straight, so I am keeping that straight. I am not making any changes to the hip line because that is almost straight. There isn't much change. Right now, once I have drawn these new lines, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove or erase the old line. So you can do the same thing on paper. It's not necessary that I'm doing on Procreate, so you have to do it on Procreate. You can do exactly same thing on paper. So once you make the new lines, you can erase the old lines and you will get the new pose. Right now, once I have erased the old waistline, the old shoulder line, the hip line is same, so I'm not doing anything to that. I'm now going back and making the I will make the legs right now. Okay, so okay, I'm just erasing the arms also because I want to start afresh for the arms. I'm not keeping the same thing. I'm changing the pose here a little bit, so that is totally up to you. You can be following exactly the same way, the reference image, or you can change the pose. And you always start with a reference image. The reason being, when you start with reference image and you practice enough, you will get a hang of how the body works, of how you will get an idea of how the poses are actually made. Now as you can see, I'll be making the leg. Her right leg is what I made, and as you can see, it is exactly how it is in the picture. Right, only the pose of the hand is a little, the hands or arms are a little bit different. Right, so this was one of the poses, and you saw it is so easy to do it. Once we have done this, next step is to make the box figure and so on. Let's now proceed with this image. In this also, I am, as you can see, the reference image is on the left hand side. I am making the same way the lines for the shoulder, the waist and the hip. Here the angle for the hip is a little bit different. I am drawing the leg also, the lines for the leg, so that I get an idea as to how to proceed with the pose of the leg. right? Now next step is to do it on the stick figure. So again, as before, I will be using the 12 head stick figure, right? And if you don't know what these 12 head, 8 head, 10 head stick figures etc are, you can sign up for a very beginner level course. I'll leave the link in the description box below, and you will be able to get the template and you will know how to make these stick figures. Right now, as per the reference image on the left hand side, and I'm using the previous croquis where I made the changes, and I will be making this new pose exactly the same way as I did before. So again, I'm changing the angle of the shoulder line as per the image. I will change the angle of the waistline as per the image. Okay, same way, similarly, I will change the angle of the hip line as per the image. Right now, once I have done that, as I said, you don't have to use Procreate. You can do it simply on a piece of paper, and then the lines that you don't need, you can simply erase. Exactly, that's what I'm doing. I'm erasing the lines, the previous ones which I don't need, and I will be making the new pose. Okay, so the next step that I will be doing, I'm erasing the lines for the leg as well, because I have the basic, the center line or the plumb line, that is like a guiding line for me. Okay, now next is the legs. So I am making her left leg right now, which is very simple, as you can see in the reference image on the left hand side, and then I will make her right leg. So how simple it is. So see, exactly same pose you got here in the stick figure. Right, next is to make her arms. Right, so I'm drawing her arms, and this I'm not making much change. I'm keeping it exactly the same as the reference image. So both the arms have been drawn, as you can see, and yeah, so this pose is also done. So as usual, once the pose is done, the next step is to just proceed with the box figure and the final croquis. Now let's move on to the third image. Okay, so this third image that you will be seeing, the poses are the rules are the same. Okay, it's just that the pose is different, and in this, the incline of the shoulder is pretty high. As you can see, the incline is pretty steep, and I'm again using the yellow lines to make understand the angle of the shoulder line, the waist line, and the hip line. Same way, I will understand the pose of the legs by drawing that line. And see, you don't have to download these images and draw it physically. What you can do is you can just look at the image and visualize these lines on the image itself. So you don't have to take print out and draw these lines. No, you don't have to do all these things. All you need to do is to visualize these lines, because that is what is going to help you when you actually do the final sketch. Now let's move on to the previous stick figure that we had made, and we will make the changes as per the new lines or guiding lines that we made in the image. Right, I am doing it with on the image. I'm drawing it on the image so that you can see how to visualize, so that you can see how to understand these lines in the body. Okay, so that you can draw the stick figure properly. Now, as usual, I am completely erasing the previous lines, the previous shoulder line, waist line, hip line, etc. And I will move on to make the new line. So this is the new shoulder line. As you can see, it is very much inclined, pretty steep incline. So yeah, so this is the shoulder line that I am making, so which is pretty steep, as you can see. Next, I will be making the waistline as per the angle in the picture, as you can see, and then the hip line. Okay, now that this is done, let's move on to make the legs. Her right leg is almost the same, there isn't much change. Her left leg is a little bit, the pose of the left leg is a little bit different, so that is what I am going to draw next. Right, so I'm now drawing her left leg, so as per the image. So as you can see, this is how it is. So the toes are touching. So in the stick figure also, as you can see, the toes of both the legs are touching each other, right? Next is the arms. As usual, I'll erase the old pose of the arms. I don't need that. And then I will make the new pose of the arms, okay, both the arms. And it's not necessary that you have to do exactly the same pose. If you want, you can make the changes. You can put both the hands on her waist, or maybe on the hip, or maybe, you know, anything that you do, or behind the body. So it is totally up to you. You can choose and change the pose. But while practicing, when if you are new and you are doing it for the first time, or you know, first few times, then it's better that you follow the pose exactly, because more you do it, eventually you will get an understanding of how the poses work. When one shoulder is in one incline, then how the waist will probably be at which angle, how the hip will be at which angle, how the arms can be positioned, and so on. Now this is the last image, last pose that we will be doing. It is exactly the same thing that we have done earlier. I will draw the reference lines for the shoulder line, for the waist line, for the hip line, and for the legs. And exactly the same thing we are going to do in the stick figure. So that is exactly what we are going to do. As you can see, that is how easy it is to make the poses in a stick figure. I hope you learned a few things from this video. If you liked the video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video.